We've been running about 15 head of mama cows, 3 steers, and some calves. Right now, with all of them that we've weaned off and everything, we're running about 30 head here on 20 acres. They're getting ready to come out to the pasture. We've been rotating pastures all summer. We've been getting rain. This pasture here, they were in here about 2.5 weeks ago. So this is going to be, they're back in here for the first time in about 2.5 weeks. This is, as you can see, they're all doing fat and happy. And here's the steers right here, right in the front. Rotational grazing, making sure you got forage for them, and just by the grace of God, getting rain when we need it, it's really made a difference. We've really been able to keep a pretty large number of cattle healthy. Now they are small cattle, mostly Dexters, but small cattle, not a lot of acreage, just 20 acres here, and they're staying, as you can see, they're staying in good condition. The calves are all nice and fat and happy. They're getting in here now and they're grazing. They're realizing the pasture's open and then get in here and graze. It's nice to see what we did with this last spring. We did some videos where we showed, yeah, I know. That we did some videos this spring, how we grazed. We put in some orchard grass, we put in some clovers. There's one of this year's calves. He's born this spring. It's Mork. There's Jerry, the renegade bull. But it's just pretty impressive what, just by rotating, making sure you keep them, give this grass time to come back. It's amazing what you can do with just a little bit of ground. There's Cash coming up in the end. This is the future bull here. There's Cash. Oh, Cash. There's Cash. Here's the cows, all out here, checking out the new grass. So we've spent a lot of time talking about rotational grazing, where we have taken our 20-acre place right now, as well as we did it at our 30-acre place, but right now we're just running the cattle on the 20-acre place. But on the Tough Street 20, we've separated that 20 acres into 2 4-acre pastures and 2 6-acre pastures. Now, it might have been ideal for them to be 5, 5, 5, and 5, but because of the lay of the land and the way the corral was needing to be situated and everything, that just wasn't practical. So, we go out there every few days, we give them just a little bit of grain. It's really not in sort of a supplement. It's really more just to keep them coming up into that corral so that we can make those changes. We can shut one gate, open another, get them into another pasture. We talk about that, and we talk about the advantage of that allows us to run more cattle because it increases the forage, because the grass has heavy pressure for about 7 days. The cows are then pulled off, and it usually rests close to 21 days. Now, there's a part of this that I haven't ever really talked about that is an advantage of doing this. I think it's worth mentioning, and that is the fact that it also helps break the parasite life cycle. So cattle get a lot of internal parasites simply from the fact that they eat the grass on the ground, they pick up internal parasites. That parasite has a life cycle. It passes through the animal, it's excreted in their excrement, and then another cow comes along, eats the grass that's contaminated with that, and they pick up, and it's this cycle, over and over again. The worms are ingested, they're digested, they grow, their eggs are passed, and the cows continue to pick up those parasites. And parasites can be a massive issue because they drain the cow, they cause weight loss, they can actually, in extreme cases, cause things that lead to death. So parasite management's always a part of cattle. But what rotational grazing does is it breaks that life cycle. So those worms, when they're passed through and they're laying there on the ground waiting to be picked up by the next animal and continue their life cycle, they have a clock that's ticking, and if they're not picked up in a certain amount of time, they die. They become dead. They're not gonna pass to another animal. So we actually have a pretty significant parasite load advantage. You know, there's a diminished parasite load by rotating these cattle and breaking that life cycle, so they're not constantly able to drop the parasites, pick the parasites back up, drop the parasite. The parasites actually lay on the ground without any host for a while and they die. It's not 100%. I wouldn't say it's like it completely does away with any sort of need for parasite management as far as internal parasites go, but it does greatly reduce the load that the cows carry. It does reduce the need for some of the worming. I would never say it reduces the need entirely, but it does really help on the efficiency of the cattle and makes them grow fat and healthy faster. So I just kind of wanted to drop that note in there because, like I've said, you know, we've talked a lot about how it, you know, that 21 days off gives the grass time to grow and all of that, but there is some extra advantages to doing the rotational grazing, and one of them is definitely parasite control. So it's just another thing to consider if you're looking at getting into cattle and everything. I mentioned in the video, you know, that we have about 30 head on that place right now. I think it's important to remember those are Dexter-sized cattle. They're small. They're low-line Angus. They are smaller cattle. You could do the same thing with larger cattle, but on 20 acres, you're going to be reduced more to, like, instead of 15 mama cows, probably about 7 mama cows, which, you know, means instead of about 30, you're probably with calves and a bull and everything, maybe carrying 14 head if you're lucky. The other part of that is larger cattle are actually a lot more hard on the ground. They're heavier, so their hooves dig in. There's a lot more. The trails are a lot heavier. The damage to the grass around your watering area and stuff is a lot heavier. So, I mean, that's one of the real advantages and why we're going with the smaller cattle. So that's something to keep in your mind as well. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed seeing the herd, and we'll just keep keeping everybody updated. And if you like it, please subscribe and like our channel. Thank you.